You're watching Fox 17 News this morning.
We are continuing to follow breaking news this morning. Police are investigating a deadly shooting in Nashville's Midtown neighborhood.
This is right near some popular Church Street bars like Clyde's and just down the road from St. Thomas Midtown Hospital. Thanks for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm AJ Hilton. Police say this happened at Medusa Hookah Bar and Grill. And Fox 17 News' Elizabeth Armstrong joins us live from Midtown working to get more information. Elizabeth?
Hey, good morning, AJ and Jen. So yeah, police actually shutting down 18th and Church, this entire area, a little earlier this morning. As you can see, cars moving down now, everything's reopening, but police are still out here trying to piece together everything that happened. We understand this all started with a fight, and you can see people are trying to scramble to get out when this fight started. There's still bottles, a broken hookah glass, even some shoes, again, as people were trying to get out when this fight started. Someone calling the police as police arrived, they actually heard the gunshot wounds. They say a person kind of came out onto the streets, collapsed. They called an ambulance. That person was taken to Vanderbilt, where they later died. Another person was also hit with a gunshot. They were taken in their own car to Southern Hills Hospital and are expected to be all right this morning. Now, police are having trouble getting information from any witnesses, so they're relying right now on crime scene evidence. But of course, they are hoping anybody with information comes forward this morning. Once again, we do want to let commuters know, or anybody heading off to work or school this morning, the Midtown area is reopening, so if you take Church to work, you're going to be okay. But police are still out here investigating this morning, so take it slow around them this morning. Something else we want to note is that this is not the first murder in this area. There's something actually happened about a year ago, another one. So we're going to be breaking that down for you a little later this morning. So be sure to stay with us here on Fox 17 News up ahead in the next hour. Live in Midtown, Elizabeth Armstrong, Fox 17 News.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you. And the other big story that we're following this Wednesday morning, Nashville says no to the $9 billion transit plan. That final vote, 64% against it, 36% supporting it. Now that voting and campaigning is over, what's next for the future of Nashville transit? Well, Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland is live with who's working on the next big transportation idea.
Well, good morning, Jennifer. The answer to that is a little bit of everybody. We're here at the Music City Central Bus Terminal. A few people trickling their way in as the bus service has yet to start this morning, but it will in just a few moments. But now that this $9 billion transit plan has been voting down, the question is, what's next? Well, we're told that just about everyone, from city council members to mayor candidates to the actual mayor himself, are all going to be working on brand new transportation plans that could roll out in the next few weeks or months. We talked to one Vanderbilt professor who says there's a reason why this particular plan didn't go well with voters.
There's lots of different reasons in terms of the publicity, kind of not making a persuasive case, kind of justifying the costs involved, or not even selling really the vision of how this would make someone's our lives better as Nashvillians kind of going forward. And so I think it's a lot of different pieces that why it could be falling apart, and kind of people are not kind of sold on the issue.
Of course, now Nashville voters will be going back to the polls coming up on May 24th. That's when they will be voting on a mayor to finish out the rest of Mayor Berry's term. We'll, of course, following that race. We're also going to be following the situation here at this bus terminal and all the Nashville transit plans later in the morning. As a matter of fact, coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll show you one of the plans that's already out there and being proposed. We're live this morning downtown. Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News.
Justin, thanks. And one thing we learned from all of this is that both sides of the transit debate say this is a problem and we're somehow going to have to fix it. Mayor David Briley threw his support behind the transit plan right after taking office, but the No Tax for Tracks effort led by Jeff Carr. He's a community activist and also a candidate for Nashville's mayoral election coming up in just 3 weeks. The transit plan defeat is a victory for Carr and sure to set him apart in that race.
Right now, 5:03, want to let you know if you're looking for all of your other election results, make sure to check the bottom of our screen. We've got a ticker up showing you what happened in Williamson and Sumner counties overnight.
Now a live look here from Nissan Stadium at 5:03 on your Wednesday morning. We are looking at mainly clear skies and mild conditions here to kick off your Wednesday. Look at these numbers here. 60 in Nashville and Clarksville, 57 in Murfreesboro and Hendersonville at this time. And again, when you wake up, probably don't even need a light jacket. You can see our coffee casks keeping us in the 60s throughout the course of the morning. morning. Mid-60s through 7 a.m. and even upper 60s by 8. Could hit 70 degrees by 9 o'clock this morning. That sun coming up at about 5:53. Here's a look at your highs today. We're going to see those mid to upper 80s for most of us in the mid-state and southern Kentucky. These temperatures are well above average for this time of year. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk about how much warmer we get tomorrow and the threat for rain and thunderstorms this upcoming weekend. Let's get a check of our commute with Traffic Jam Sam. Good morning.
Good morning. 5:04 and your steer clear traffic and all clear coming in from Clarksville. So good morning to everyone coming in from Montgomery County, the 24 corridor. Not seeing any delays right now. It's actually been quiet all week long. And I know all of you know it's just 2 lanes in both directions, eastbound and westbound. So whenever we have one small issue, it can really stall up the 24 corridor. But right now, not the case. Running on time, 24 minutes from MLK Junior Parkway, entering 24 down to Whites Creek Pike. No delays in from Robertson County, Bethel Road, getting on 65 south down to Briley. And then Vietnam Vets, no problems right now. 6 minutes. Remember, Sumner County was out yesterday for Election Day. A lot of schools were being used as polling places. They are back in school today, so expect a little bit of a heavier commute. We'll check in with the rest of the Mid-State through 9 on Fox 17 News this morning.
Sam, thank you. It is 5:05, and we also have an update this morning on yesterday's code red traffic incident that left drivers backed up for miles on I-40 in Donaldson.
Metro Nashville police now tell Fox 17 News the woman killed after being hit by several cars had been under the influence. Police say 37-year-old Rebecca Mueller out of Antioch got out of her husband's car on the side of the interstate. Her husband says he thought she wanted to walk up the ramp, but walked out into traffic instead. She leaves behind 3 children.
A Laverne High School student is dead this morning, and police say 2 17-year-olds are responsible. Officers say Eugene Cherubin saw an online ad offering an iPhone for sale. He went to meet with the seller at a condominium right behind the post office on Murfreesboro Road. And that's when police say the 2 teens robbed him and shot him in the face. The high school student rushed to the hospital where he later died. The teen suspects are in custody this morning.
Also this morning, Travis Ranking's family is speaking out for the first time since the deadly Waffle House shooting. Ranking is accused of shooting 6 people at that Antioch restaurant, killing 4 before hiding out. Ranking's parents' attorney releasing a statement saying they are devastated by the loss of life and injury in Tennessee. The Rankings also say they anticipate that greater clarity will be revealed about the events leading up to this incident. Now, Illinois State Police took away Ranking's guns after he breached a restricted area near the White House demanding to talk to the president. But investigators say his dad is the one who gave him back those guns. Right now, plans are in the works to get James Shaw Jr. to the White House. He's the man credited with wrestling the gun out of the Waffle House shooter's hands. He also raised so far $218,000 in a GoFundMe account for the victims.
Coming up on 5:07 and Fox 17 Sports Now, the Predators-Jets series has the look of one that if it's going to go the full 7 games. It's going to have to go at least 6 now for Nashville to win this thing because Winnipeg got the victory last night in Game 3, 7-4. Trying to figure out how this all happened.
Right.
Just minutes in, the veteran Mike Fisher getting the Preds on the board right there with that goal, slamming home that rebound, 1-0. I mean, great first period, too. Midway through, PK Subban going to strike on the power play. Okay, here we go, 2-0. And then just before the first ended, here we go. Austin Watson, after a turnover, he gets the 3rd goal. And you're thinking Nashville's going to cruise.
Well, yeah, I went to bed.
You went to bed, I went to bed thinking, here we go. The arena was quiet until this. Jacob Trouba going to tie it up right there at 3. The Jets have all the momentum. And look at that. We've got another goal now. So now Winnipeg is up 4-3. And then really the wheels just fell off. After 40 minutes, back and forth they go. 12 minutes on the Preds power play. Here we go. Philip Forsberg going to tie things up. But here we go. Power play for the Jets. Blake Wheeler. Take a look at this goal. He beats Pecorine right there. And then the Jets add 2 more late. They finish with the 7-4 victory. The Jets now lead this series 2-1.
We knew they were coming. They came strong, got a little momentum, and tried to take away in the 3rd from them. And like I said, the penalty box is tough against a good power play, and we just got to be a little bit smarter and learn from it. I mean, it it was a fun one, not the way we wanted to obviously end it, but we'll come back 2 nights and be better.
All right, so here's how the rest of the series is set up. The Preds will play in Winnipeg 8:30 tomorrow night, and then Game 5 is back here in Nashville Saturday night. If needed, the Preds will have to go back up to Winnipeg for Game 6. They got to win that, and then if possibly Game 7 right here in Smashville. To be determined how this is all going to play out.
Man, that was so disappointing to wake up to that score this morning. I cannot lie. I just felt shocked.
I think we all did.
Yeah, I mean, and look, we got confidence in the Preds. It's not that. It's just that, man, we had it.
I know.
We had it. Hey, while the players are in Canada, the team is also doing some good right here in the Nashville community.
Yeah, the Predators Foundation going to give out more than $600,000 to 149 local charities today.
Yeah.
It is the largest one-time donation in the foundation's history.
It is all in honor of the big payback. You're going to hear about that later today as you wake up and get going. This is a day that is designed to highlight Middle Tennessee charities and giving back to our local community.
It's great.
Yeah. A Tennessee police officer gets in a fight off the clock. Why the security guard involved? Why the security guard involved here says the officer started tossing him around.
Stopping school shootings before they happen without changing gun laws. The technology one Special Forces soldier swears will save lives. You are watching Fox 17 News this morning. We are your only local news source from 7 to 9. You can see the election results scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Of course, we are your Election Day headquarters. You can join us every weekday morning starting at 4.
5:13 is a time right now, and some incredible aerial footage this morning of a freight train that is derailed in Kentucky. It started a fire near an elementary school. This is Bullitt County, which is just about 30 minutes south of Louisville. The train not carrying anything hazardous, but it did have a bunch of cars on board. The impact of the crash caused the car's gas tanks to explode, and that's what started the fire. They had 2 men on board that CSX train able to walk away from the crash.
Wow. 5:13 this morning, and a Tennessee police officer could face charges after getting into an off-duty altercation with a security guard. Take a closer look at this video. Off-duty police officer Jared Hurst in the blue shirt, the security guard in the black. The guard says he'd been trying to stop Hurst from leaving the bar through an unauthorized exit. And you see what happens here. The guard also trying to stop the woman with Hurst from leaving the bar with the beer in her hand. The two, as you saw, they put their hands on each other. At one point, the officer, you just saw it, tossed the guard over that rail. Memphis police say Officer Hurst is off duty with pay as the investigation continues. So far, he is not facing charges.
Vista Outdoor announces it will no longer make firearms, instead focusing on the ammunition business. Vista is looking to sell its Savage and Stevens firearm lines. The company facing some pressure from outdoor retailers to stop making guns following the mass shooting at Parkland, Florida back in February.
Happening today, some students across America are planning to walk out of school at 10 this morning. They say it's to stand up for the Second Amendment. One student in Spring Hill tells Fox 17 News he is organizing a walkout at Summit High School. He says the movement is about making school safe while protecting our constitutional rights.
A former Special Forces soldier from right here in the Mid-State says he has developed facial recognition software to stop school shootings. But he's running into a brick wall from the state, he says, when it comes to getting this technology into our schools. I want to tell you about it. See what you think. Jackson says his facial recognition software can match a felon, an expelled student, or a person on what's called a not welcome list. In other words, somebody who's not allowed to be at school. And then send their picture to people in the school building within 30 seconds to let them know that that person who's not supposed to be at school is there. But the state of Tennessee has deemed this man's software an alarm system, and now they're forcing him to get a license for it, something that could set him and this business and the technology back at least 5 years.
So we set out to create a product that we could sell that would help keep kids safe and that the average preschool could afford.
We should be rolling out the red carpet for any sort of software solution like this that can help us protect schools and synagogues, and instead we're throwing up barriers.
So you heard from the inventor, who, by the way, is a veteran right here in Tennessee, and the Beacon Center of Tennessee. It is a nonprofit think tank that a lot of times will represent entrepreneurs who get bogged down by government regulations. Beacon Center is representing Jackson, saying that the idea that his software is a burglar alarm is ridiculous. Fox 17 News will continue to follow this story and let you know what happens next.
5:16 and new this morning, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg announcing several new features that you will be seeing on your newsfeed. And one small change lets you report if someone's status update is hate speech with just one click. Another new feature that has everyone talking, Facebook launching a dating service later this year. It'll only use your first name, and your dating profile will be separate from your regular Facebook profile, and it'll only match you with people who aren't on your friends list. And soon you'll be able to start wiping out your browsing history on Facebook. That includes what you've clicked on and which websites that you visited. The new privacy feature comes on the heels of Cambridge Analytica, that scandal where political information, that firm improperly accessed data on 87 million Facebook users.
517, want to share with you some incredible storm video this morning. I know a lot of you get real geeked up when it comes to weather and maybe even storm chasing. This is coming out of Kansas, where storm chasers caught a tornado on camera. I've got our Skywatch 17 meteorologist Justin Chambers here with me, watching the time lapse, watching this thing move. Justin?
We've been showing these pictures and video all morning. We hope to have more of that throughout the morning, because we did have a pretty decent outbreak yesterday. About 21 tornadoes were reported in areas in the northern and central plains, and they get a second day today, a third day tomorrow, almost in the same area. May is a tornado month.
Sure. I mean, you guys have talked about the severe weather awareness right now.
Exactly
and have a plan, know your safe spot, and what you're going to do if we end up getting stuff like this.
It's exactly right. We're going to have some storms this weekend. Nothing like that, but we are going to have some isolated thunderstorms. Something to think about, because we've been so dry and warm, and we'll continue that trend for today and tomorrow. This is that severe weather outlook, and when you have that red area, which is a moderate risk, you have a scale of 1 to 5 essentially. Moderate is 4 out of a scale of 1 to 5. And look at that little red bullseye right there just around Kansas City. This is parts of Kansas into Iowa, Missouri. That's the area where we're expecting to see more of those thunderstorms and tornadoes later this afternoon. Friends or family in that part of the country, make sure you check on them, make sure to let them know. I'm sure they're well aware. And if you're traveling to that part of the country, you need to be aware of that as well. As for us, your coffee cast this morning, low to mid 60s here throughout the rest of the morning time, and 67 by 8 a.m. It is going to warm up nicely today. The wind will pick up a little bit later this afternoon. That's about the only difference. You're going to see some more breezy to windy conditions here later in the day as the kids get out to their bus stop forecast. We're talking about mid 60s in the next couple of hours, 80 by lunchtime and recess, and mid 80s once you pick them up later this afternoon. On your satellite and radar picture, we're pretty much dry here. You're seeing a few clouds hanging around, some leftover showers and storms from Omaha moving up into Chicago. But why we are dealing with such nice weather here, I like to call it the Dome of Delight. This is a big old dome right up over the top of the southeast, and it's that ridge of high pressure. You hear me talking about that. It's that dry air mass above and sinking air toward the surface. That gives us clear and stable conditions. That can lead to record warmth depending on the season, which is what we are seeing right now. Not necessarily records here in the mid-state, but pretty close by the time we get to tomorrow. And some of our friends to the south are going to be dealing with 90s. Let's talk about those severe storms, though, and why we're seeing them this time of year. You get that very warm air just south of what we call a stationary front, and then here's all that moisture. Look at that, surging up right up into the northern and central plains, Tornado Alley, as we like to call it. Then you get cold air up on top of it. That's above the surface. That helps to aid in the instability. You get that unstable atmosphere, and we can deal with this right here in our own backyard. And what we see with that, those severe thunderstorms and tornadoes that are going to be possible for not only this afternoon, but tomorrow as well. Putting the future track into motion for us here in the mid-state in southern Kentucky. We're going to see a few of those clouds hanging around this afternoon. Another warm southerly flow today and tomorrow with the breezy conditions. There are some of those storms here by Thursday afternoon into St. Louis and Louisville. Not necessarily here. By the time we get into Friday morning, some of those showers right along the Mississippi River Valley. It's going to take until Friday afternoon for that cold front associated with that same weather system to move into the area. And that's going to bring us some showers and some thunderstorms isolated through Friday afternoon. It's really Saturday now where we're looking to see more of that rain. Right as that cold front moves in, this will mainly be rain showers for Saturday afternoon with a few isolated thunderstorms as well. And I know what you're thinking, right in time for the weekend. Unfortunately, that's just what we have to deal with here with your extended forecast. We're talking about mid to upper 80s the next couple of days with breezy conditions, lower 80s Friday, upper 70s Saturday, and with those clouds and showers and storms, we're going to see some slightly cooler temperatures into Sunday and Monday of next week. Let's check in with Sam to see what's going on the roads. Good morning.
Good morning. 521 and your Steer Clear traffic. Good morning to everyone in Williamson County, talking about Spring Hill, Thompson Station, Franklin, the Cool Springs area, and Brentwood. Really looking nice along I-65 if you're traveling north toward Nashville or maybe traveling south. No delays in either direction. Nice shot from the city of Brentwood, one of their city cameras here. Concord at Wilson Pike. You can always recognize Concord by the radio tower there, and then this is right off I-65. So again, traffic is light. No crashes out there on the interstates, and if you're about to hit the road maybe by the 5:30 half hour, we're going to check in with those 5:30 drive times coming up on Fox 17 News this morning.
Thank you, Sam. Keeping nicotine out of kids' hands. What the FDA is doing after seeing these products that look like food.
And don't forget, you can catch Fox 17 News at 4 p.m. now, Monday through Friday, over on MyTV 30.
You're watching Fox 17 News this morning. We're your only local news source from 7 to 9. Of course, from Skywatch 17 weather, steer clear traffic every 10 minutes. Great way to wake up in Music City.
5:25 right now and new this morning. U.S. Customs and Border agents make a rare discovery, a baby tiger in a duffel bag. The agents say they had responded to an illegal border crossing, and that's when 3 people abandoned this cub as they crossed back over into Mexico. This tiger cub, 3 or 4 months old, has been turned over to a local zoo in Texas.
I was going to say, didn't we have an incident like this just a couple of months back where something similar happened with the tiger cub? The FDA is warning some e-cigarette and liquid nicotine companies to stop designing products to attract our children. I want you to take a closer look at some of these. The nicotine packages for e-cigs and vapes could really easily be mistaken for juice boxes or cookies. These nicotine liquids, dangerous for children. They could cause kids to have seizures, end up in a coma, or even die. The FDA says it might take further action past warnings if companies don't address these concerns. I mean, you can understand why they're taking this action because you're right. Easily a child could mistake it.
It is 5:26 and a new rule now in effect requiring all new vehicles to have rear view cameras. I gotta say, I love this idea. This includes cars, buses, and trucks. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration approved this new standard back in 2014, and now manufacturers have been slowly phasing in those cameras. And I gotta say, I have one now. I don't know how I drove without one before. The U.S. Department of Transportation believes this new rule will even save 60 to 70 lives each year by preventing accidents where drivers back over someone they did not know was behind them.
Yeah, Sam, when I rent a car, I look in the area where the camera should be because my car, I'm like, it doesn't have one. What's going on? I thought they all have them. Hey, speaking of cars, you want to get those cars cleaned up? Well, you're good to go today and tomorrow, green lights. But Friday, a few rain showers going to be starting to move in for the weekend. So get them cleaned up now. We'll tell you more about that forecast coming up.
And 527, looking at nice out there. We'll track that drive in from Bellevue, the west side of town along I-40. I think you're going to like it on Fox 17 News this morning.
Parents are lining up to complain about a Middle Tennessee juvenile court judge. They say that they've gone into her court and come out ruined. Homelessness, sexual assault, divorce, children taken away without good reasons. What in the world is going on? Is there any validity to this? Find out Wednesday on Fox 17 News at 9.
You're watching Fox 17 News this morning.
5:30 and breaking news this morning, a deadly shooting in Nashville's Midtown neighborhood.
This is right near some popular Church Street bars like Clyde's and just down the street from St. Thomas Midtown Hospital. Want to say good morning. Thanks for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning. I'm AJ Hilton.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Police tell Fox 17 News it happened at Medusa Hookah Bar and Grill. That may not be a place you're familiar with, but when we show you the map, you'll see how close it is to some other spots that you probably have heard of. As AJ just mentioned, just down the road from St. Thomas Midtown and near Clyde's on Church. Fox 17 News' Elizabeth Armstrong is live from that location with the newest information.
Hey, good morning, AJ and Jen. Yeah, you mentioned the hospital, a couple of the bars around here. There's also several apartments around here. So you can imagine a very scary night for several people in this area. And of course, the people who were at this bar this morning, when we take a look back there, you can see everything from shoes to bottles to even some shattered glass as people tried to get out. This all started with a fight and somebody, of course, calling police when that fight broke out. Police say they arrived and that's when the gunshots started. People kind of flooding out of the bar into the street. They saw one person collapse, called an ambulance. That person taken to the hospital where that person later died. Another person was taken to Southern Hills Hospital in their own car and is with a gunshot wound. They're expected to be all right this morning. Now, something that is being noted is that this isn't the first time a murder has happened in this area. Just over a year ago, around October 25th of 2016, Charles Rutledge shot his cousin O'Shea Rutledge just a few feet away at the intersection of 18th and Church. So again, this is just a few feet away from the Medusa Nashville. So something again being noted this morning that was drug related and targeted. So right now, police are saying that no one's really providing information on what exactly happened here. So they're relying on crime scene evidence this morning. The crime scene unit's just packing up a little while ago, but police are still out here this morning. Be sure to stay with Fox 17 News. I'm going to continue to be out here. I'm updating you on my Twitter at Fox 17 Elizabeth. Live in Midtown, Elizabeth Armstrong, Fox 17 News.
Elizabeth, thank you. The other big story we continue to follow this morning, Nashville says no to the $9 billion transit plan. By the way, you can find the rest of your election results scrolling at the bottom of your screen. That final transit vote, 64% against it, 36% supported it. Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland live with the plans in the works to help Nashville get around. Justin.
Well, AJ, for right now, this is the only plan Nashville's got, and it's the existing one here at MTA downtown at the Music City Central. You can see a lot of people lined up to get on the buses that are already running, and that will be about it. That is until Nashville comes up with a brand new transportation plan after the last one was voted down. Take a look at what one Metro Council member has already put out, and there's a number of these are going to be coming out here over the next couple of weeks and months. This is from Council Member Robert Swope. He says he's got autonomous vehicles and a fleet that could run. He's proposing a double-decker interstate loop and buses that would go 24 hours a day. He says the whole thing could be done for around $1.65 billion. Nashville, Fox 17 rather, caught up with the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce CEO. He talked about what possibly went wrong.
We're going to do a post-mortem. We've had our head down, charging forward, trying to make the plan as clear to people as we could possibly do it through lots of speaking engagements. I think we'll all sit down, we'll take a little bit of a breather, and then we'll sit down and we'll talk about, what caused this vote to occur.
Now, there will be more plans coming out. We understand a number of people running for office are working on them. In the meantime, Nashville voters will be heading back to the polls on May 24th to vote in a mayor to finish the term left by Megan Barry. We're live downtown. Justin McFarland, Fox 17 News.
Thanks for that, Justin. 5:34 is your time right now. A live look here outside. Now, if you have a moment, please come to your TV screen real quick. Want to show you what's going on with our City View camera. Nice and clear skies, right? You can see the lights of the city still on and Music City skyline waking up this morning. But this is the shot that I want you to really pay attention to, right? Top of the LNC Tower, man, we get some really good shots here looking off due east. There's Nissan Stadium, the Cumberland in the foreground, and look at that little morning glow. Yeah, that sun coming up about 20 minutes from right now. We are mild. I just stepped outside myself. Probably don't even need a light jacket here as you get going this morning, and definitely don't need it later this afternoon. Difference today, our wind. It's going to pick up a little bit more here later today and tomorrow as well. So another warm one on tap with breezy conditions at times. And we do have some storms on the way by the time we head into this weekend. This is not looking like any kind of a severe weather outbreak. We're going to have showers and a couple of pop-up thunderstorms both Friday and Saturday that we've got to talk about. Hitting the links today, no issues. Mid-60s here through the 7 o'clock hour. Maybe a bit breezy. That's about it. 80 by noon. We're going to see those temperatures in the mid to upper 80s through about 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. Probably just, I don't even think it's a one club wind today, but we are definitely going to see the breezy conditions here out of the south and southwest throughout the later part of the day. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk about those storms in the northern and central plains and how part of that system could affect us by the weekend. That's in just a few minutes from right now. Let's check in with Sam to see what's going on the roads. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Justin. 5:36 is the time this Wednesday morning in your Steer Clear traffic, and really liking how things are shaping up, coming in all across town, but really on the west side, I-40, Pegram, Kingston Springs, Bellevue, Belmead. No problems on 40 eastbound on the west side of town. You can see a live look here, 40 at White Bridge. I will say because of the wide shoulders here, it is not uncommon to see tractor trailer drivers stop. I don't encourage it, but it's no issue as right now traffic is very light. 7 minutes actually in from Bellevue up to 440, probably about 10 to 15 minutes to get all the way into downtown. 440 under 10 minutes as well. We had some overnight paving, make it a smoother ride on the roadway, but that is now wrapped up, so should not be an issue now. And then 65 in from Franklin up to 440, about 14 minutes. So everything is running on time. We have no crashes on the interstate, and again, things are looking nice. But we will check in with the rest of the mid-state, specifically to our north, east, and southeast on Fox 17 News this morning.
Sam, thanks. Right now the time is 5:37 and a man dies after a police traffic stop in Kentucky. Officers say 29-year-old Robert Enos from Cincinnati suffered some type of medical emergency when police pulled his car over and arrested him. Officers gave the man CPR after they subdued him, even though guns had not been involved in this arrest. Investigators will use the same process to figure out what happened as they do in officer-involved shootings. An autopsy this morning should give more clues into how he died.
Want to update you this morning on the next move in the Centoya Brown case. This is a story we've been following for months. Both sides are now going to make arguments in federal appeals court next month. Brown's attorneys say that then 16-year-old had been a sex trafficking victim who killed Johnny Allen after he solicited her. They want her life sentence without parole overturned. Prosecutors will argue that Centoya Brown killed Johnny Allen to rob him. Fox 17 News coverage of her push for clemency helped spark the Free Centoya Brown movement. A new larger-than-life exhibit at Cheekwood. The meaning behind these huge photogenic rabbits.
United Airlines is changing its animal policy. What you need to know if you want to fly with your pet. You are watching Fox 17 News this morning. We are your only local news source from 7 to 9. We'll be right back. Good morning. It is 5:41 and we want to give you a heads up. You may not be able to travel with your best friend on United Airlines much longer. That's because United has announced new travel policies regarding which animals it will and will not allow in the cargo hold, so underneath the plane. It comes after a series of high-profile animal deaths, including a dog that had been put in an overhead storage bin. Among the newly banned breeds are short-nosed dogs like pugs and French bulldogs for health risks. Pit bulls and mastiffs are also banned. The American Humane Society helped come up with this list, and any animal other than a cat or dog also banned. Those changes go into effect June 18th.
5:41 right now. And hey, we know we're waking up after Election Day yesterday. If you're looking for results for your particular elections, make sure you're watching the bottom of the screen where we have those scrolling. And you know, we've got great weather in Nashville yesterday for voting, more great weather today. And it could be your chance to get out and see the new exhibit over at Cheekwood. If you're new to Nashville and you haven't been to Cheekwood, this is definitely a spot you'll want to check out. And this particular exhibit is interesting. Huge inflatable rabbits. 40-foot tall bunnies designed by an artist named Amanda Parrer. And they glow at night. She says the oversized bunnies draw attention to the natural world, its fragility, and our role within the ecosystem. This exhibit is on display through May 27th.
That'd be kind of cool to see at night.
I think I'm gonna have to take the kids to see that.
The kids to go see that?
Yeah, we have a free weekend coming up this weekend. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey, we just want to take a quick second to thank all of you, our Fox 17 viewers, who contributed to our Second Harvest campaign.
Yep.
We had a great turnout. I actually delivered the last load of food yesterday, 173 pounds worth of food just yesterday.
It's been so incredible to see your support, not only your dropping off of donations, but contributing online to that account, helping us help end hunger in Middle Tennessee.
I was going to say, so we had 173 pounds that we dropped off yesterday.
Yes.
We had more than 500 that we dropped off the week before. So all of that food, making sure that our Middle Tennessee families have a good meal to eat. So thank you once again for all of your help during that campaign. One of Music City's most well-known companies filing for bankruptcy. What Gibson employees say threw the business off track.
And the Tennessee Titans evaluating the draft class, how quarterback Marcus Mariota is feeling about his offense going into the new season.
You are watching Fox 17 News this morning. What a great way to wake up with that sunrise. We are your only local news source from 7 to 9 a.m. Of course, with Skywatch 17 weather, steer clear traffic every 10 minutes. We'll be right back. Good morning. It is 5:46 on this Wednesday. Got a live look into downtown Nashville. If you're just now waking up with us, you're looking for election results. You can find those scrolling at the bottom of your screen. We'll also check back in with Skywatch 17 meteorologist Justin Chambers, tracking the temperatures today. Also talking about the possibility of some rain later this week. Gibson Brands, the most iconic guitar maker in the world, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and that company is based right here in Nashville. We had a chance to speak to longtime Gibson employees who say the CEO wanted the company to become a lifestyle brand, kind of like Harley Davidson. So Gibson got into the consumer electronics business, trying to sell things like speakers, headphones, and DJ products, which in turn moved their focus away from guitars.
The good news out of this whole story is that Gibson are now going to get back to the fundamentals, to making great guitars. And that was a gold mine.
Gibson will be able to continue operating with $135 million in financing from leaders. The CEO says they've sold non-core brands to refocus on their core business, which is instruments. Do want to turn now to Fox 17 Sports because the Titans are hoping that their latest draft will help a deep playoff run next year. The new draft class for the team, it's small, just 4 players, including 3 on defense. And QB Marcus Mariota is taking that as a vote of confidence for his offense. Take a listen.
I'm excited. I think John and Coach Vrabel do a great job of putting the team first. I think John's done that his last couple years. So I'm excited to bring these new guys in. I think they'll help us right away, and just excited to get to work. I think we, as an offense, have confidence in ourselves, and hopefully we can build off of last year.
It'll be interesting to see the offense this year, too, because Derrick Henry's going to be the starting running back.
Right.
Wide receivers are healthy. Got a good offensive line. Let's see what they can do.
130 days until the very first game. Yeah, in Miami. That's here on Fox 17. We get 3 games this year. Thursday Night Football on Fox 17 also this year. So all those games on Thursday night right here. Live look right now from our Metro Center. We are seeing nothing but clear skies. A little bit of some breezy conditions. The flag on the right side of your screen. And we're going to see that wind kick up here a little bit later today, more so than what we saw yesterday. There's Bridgestone, of course, Game 5 on Saturday night here in Smashville. Probably going to have to deal with some rain as we get into the weekend, which we'll talk about in a moment. Temperatures as you step outside this hour, 63 Ashland City. Good morning to you, Franklin, Brentwood. You're at 64. Same number for you up there in Sumner County, and lower 60s for Nashville, back through Mount Juliet. Lebanon, you're actually in the lower 50s at this hour. As the kids get out to the bus stop here, well, basically talking about nice conditions this morning. Numbers into the mid 60s, lower 80s by lunch and recess, and we'll top out in those mid to upper 80s with breezy conditions for us later this afternoon. Look at some of these highs. Mid to upper 80s for Lebanon, Murfreesboro, Nashville, 85 Columbia, lower 80s even in Tullahoma, and 84 for you in Lawrenceburg later today. Even throughout the southeast, we're going to be at 87 in Montgomery, close to 90 in Jackson, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, 85 there in Mobile. And here is why most of the country, at least the eastern 2/3 of the country, above average. Look at all that orange right there that extends up into the Midwest and the Northeast. Meanwhile, folks in the West Coast, they were dealing with hot temperatures last week, now below average numbers there as a system sort of digs in and brings in some cooler air. Talked about it a little bit earlier, that big old ridge of high pressure, the dome of delight, or the big bubble of no trouble. Dry air mass above with the sinking air towards the surface, kind of capping us. If you watch the Simpsons movie, there's that whole dome that they put right over Springfield. That's kind of what we're underneath right now. It's a lot better than that for sure. Meanwhile, our severe weather outlook, well, this is what we're talking about from the Storm Prediction Center, on a moderate risk for severe weather right there in areas of Kansas City, northeastern Kansas, into parts of Missouri and Iowa. The same area also into Nebraska, dealing with that severe weather for today. We had about 21 tornadoes that were reported yesterday afternoon. And here is our next weather maker, kind of tailing off of this system. This is Thursday, tomorrow. Rain ahead of that front. We're going to see some of that severe storms in that same section of the country. By Friday, check out what happens. That area of low pressure kind of scoots up to the north and to the east. That blue line, which is the cold front, stretches out and gets a little bit closer to us. And then by Saturday, taking that front and kind of stretching it out. It's very elongated. So that's going to be the scattered showers along the front. And that means Saturday for most of the day is going to be wet. We are going to see the potential for a few isolated storms, but this will mainly be rain on Saturday afternoon and some of that left over into the evening if you're heading to the Preds game Saturday night. Mid to upper 80s, again, dry and breezy the next 2 days, and then we'll introduce rain back into the forecast for Friday and Saturday. Sunday, Monday, we're going to have some of the clouds kind of left over and a few scattered showers here and there, but our temperatures will dip just a little bit as we head into early next week. All right, Sam, what's going on the roads right now? Good morning.
Good morning. 5:51 and your Fox 17 steer clear traffic and looking nice on the bypass, talking about Sumner County. You might remember yesterday schools were out because a lot of the schools were being used as polling places for Election Day. Not the case today. School is back in, but you can't really tell. 6 minutes getting on the bypass from New Shackle Island Road in Hendersonville and taking 386 over to 65. So a nice shot here, Vietnam Vets at exit 3. That's for 31E, Gallatin Pike. Not a whole lot of activity yet traveling inbound or outbound, maybe traveling toward Gallatin. I-65 at Vietnam Vets looking good here right off the bypass onto the interstate, but definitely beginning to build as we inch toward the 6 o'clock hour. Speaking of that, we'll take a look at those drive times at the top of the hour on Fox 17 News this morning.
A roller coaster gets stuck upside down for hours. Oh my gosh, where this happened and why the riders maybe should have known better. And helping 300 million people battle all kinds of illness, what giving up your DNA can do for science.
Ellis, another drive, score! Fox 17 News is your station to watch as the Nashville Predators make their way through the Stanley Cup playoffs.
We have you covered as the Preds and their fans march their way to an NHL championship.
We want the cup! We want the cup! Fox 17 News will have live updates and complete coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Tune in every Friday night at 10:30 to get highlights, previews, and the best behind-the-scenes coverage of your Nashville Predators.
Again, that's every Friday night at 10:30 right here on Fox 17 News. Brought to you by your Middle Tennessee Toyota dealers.
And a very good morning to you. 5:56 on this Wednesday morning. Unfortunately, waking up to that loss last night in the playoffs to the Winnipeg Jets. But hey, no worries. We still got more games to go. And a reminder, we are your Fox 17 election headquarters. So if you're looking for the results of your local elections from overnight, make sure you check the bottom of our screen. We've got them scrolling for you live through 9.
Hey, while you're at your screen, stay here because I want you to show you this. A roller coaster in Japan leaves more than 60 people upside down. Look at this.
No.
The flying dinosaur at Universal Studios had to make an emergency stop yesterday afternoon. Passengers up there for 2 hours before being rescued. The good news, no one got hurt, but maybe these riders should have known better. This is the 4th time this specific roller coaster has gotten stuck in the last 2 years. Upside down for 2 hours.
Okay, note to self, not a good track record for that one. Right now, the U.S. government is asking a few million people to share their DNA and health habits for a decade. And they're asking people to do it in the name of science. Would you do it? Enrollment for the experiment starts Sunday. The government basically wants to build a database to compare genetics, lifestyles, and environments of people from all walks of life. They hope that it will explain things like why some people get certain illnesses and others don't. They also say they want to better customize ways to prevent and treat diseases.
5:57 this morning, George Washington is behind Budweiser's newest beer. The Freedom Reserve Red Lager is inspired by the first president's recipe. He wrote the ingredients in a journal entry titled "To Make Small Beer." The limited edition beer will be brewed by Budweiser's military veterans. Some proceeds from the sales will go toward Folds of Honor. That's a nonprofit that gives scholarships to military families. So a great cause to pick up some George Washington beer.
So he was the first small batch.
He's the
local
person that
craft brew.
He's the person that started all this.
I think Nashville may need a little bit of that around town. Right now it's 5:58 and your steer clear traffic looking nice out there. No crashes. We're going to take a look at that rush hour coming up at the top of the 6 o'clock hour on Fox 17 News this morning.
Typically this time of year, mid-70s is where we are. We're going to be in the 80s again today, also tomorrow, even into Friday. Finally, some cooler temperatures this weekend, and we do have rain as well. Going to lay that all out for you coming up in a few minutes.
Nashville says no to the transit plan, so what's next? We'll tell you who's working on it coming up in a few.